Okay, so we have this assignment, reading rows of data from a spreadsheet, a table of data, a file, which is usually called a CSV file format, comma separated values or comma separated variables, storing this data in an array of class objects. Actually, let me change that real quick. And doing some data analytics. All right. So this is data now. It's an introduction to data analytics and data analysis, which are, uh, this is probably known to pretty much everybody as a hot field right now, popular, make lots of money, etc. Um, so, uh, in the past, I had a link to a GitHub repository, which is actually right there. I'm just opening it again. So we have some data sets about air quality, Elon's tweets, cryptocurrency, et cetera, gold rates, many data sets in here. Aviation history. Let's see. So one that I've analyzed before is the breast cancer Coimbra data set. Um, so let's see. That's yeah, quite a lot of data here. Radius worst area. Okay, so this is get that's more that's not the data set that I thought I was going to see. There's a very well-known data set called the breast cancer Coimbra data set. So if we just look at that real quick, let's go ahead and click the download button. We are on the University of California Irvine website, which is a very well-known machine learning repo. So if we download that, open it up in Windows Explorer. It is a zip file, as you may have seen, so we'll need to right click and then extract all data to unzip on my Windows machine. And now we have a CSV file, so that's good. So if we open this up, as you can see, there's this little green symbol here, which means this is basically an Excel spreadsheet. But if I actually open this up with Notepad, we will see a bunch of fields. I don't mean like a football field or a field where you plant tomatoes. I mean field in the context of computer science and programming. So age, body mass index, glucose concentration, like how much sugar is in your blood, how much insulin is in your blood, or in other areas of your body where this, I think it's generally in blood or in a particular organ like your kidneys or something like this. I forget what HOMA stands for, but leptin, adiponectin, resistin, MCP.1. These are all chemicals and maybe proteins inside of your body, and I think MCP1 is also. Uh, these are all results that you would get with a blood test, and the classification here is the final column. Like you see one here in the second row, and one in the third row, and one in the fourth row. And if we scroll down, eventually we're going to encounter the twos. So it's not one and zero, and I was actually expecting to see zeros here. But in this case, I believe one means this person did not have breast cancer, and two means that they did. Either that or the flip-flop of that. Um, so uh, So what is this data set trying to establish? It's trying to establish like, is there a correlation between a person's age, BMI, glucose concentration, insulin, et cetera, all of these biomarkers as they might be called, and the incidence, the probability that you have breast cancer before. So early detection prevents death possibly from breast cancer. So I think it should be obvious like why it is useful to be looking at data sets like these. And as I said in previous semesters, I linked to a GitHub repository, which this is maybe a legitimate data set, but a more authoritative source of information is this website here. You can get to it. I'll provide it. I'll be providing a link to it. Um, so this is another famous data set called the Iris data set, which if you like flowers quite a lot, you might want to look into that. But browse data sets. So for this assignment, I'm going to get you guys to just find one of these, like search through these data sets. You see there's 682 results here, so that is quite a lot. Um, if you like wine, you can determine if a wine came from Spain or France or whatnot based on the existence of certain chemicals in that wine, like how acidic is the wine and how much sulfate does it have and stuff like this. But suppose that we like sports, or I like billiards, so I kind of doubt that it'll have any data set on billiards, but maybe I'll be surprised. Yeah, so it looks like zero results were returned, which is a bit disappointing, but if we go sports, yeah, yeah. Um, Eating habits, physical condition, that might be interesting to look at. Daily and sports activities, motion sensor data of 19. Okay. And none of this is quite as interesting as I thought it would be. So um, maybe that GitHub data set is actually, uh, I guess I'll leave that in there. But for those of you guys who want to use a really authoritative source of information, I don't know. Let's just go back and not search for anything. But you should play with this. We go back, and just pick one of these other guys to show you what this looks like from the very beginning. Car evaluation, it's kind of interesting. Automobile, diabetes. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? It's obviously important to a lot of us. This is a pretty big data set. It's 180 kilobytes, so it's going to contain lots of rows. There is a description of the data set. It's also nice to note that it doesn't have any missing values, so that can be potentially be very problematic when you have a data set that has holes, as it's called, holes in the data. Um, so nobody, if you don't have diabetes, this data set is, or if you don't have a family member with diabetes, this data set isn't going to really resonate with you. But um, let's see. Uh, let's extract all. And this .z file, that might be a little bit of a problem, a little dead end. Let's see. Let me just try to open this up with this software and see if it makes any sense. No, no. Okay. So I've got something called 7-zip. Uh, Let me see. But yeah, it's called a tar file. So I'm not gonna ask you guys to get to this level of detail, but just in case you're really curious about this. Yeah, don't, okay, so we're actually seeing some data that makes sense now, but that's not the best, that was a little more complicated than I was hoping for. The zip file contains, I mean, we can open this README there are things called READMEs for programmers, which are very important to read. And these are instructions on how to extract the data files, which I did, but and that's talking about Unix and which is an operating system, but that's getting a little too complicated. So maybe just pull a data set. This website is very authoritative, but it's giving files that are not like a uniform format. So let's just go with this. I'll put links to both of them up. But I don't want to make anybody upset politically, but if we want, maybe this is kind of humorous to look at. So let's see, how big is this file? It's one. it's a million bytes. So that's quite a lot. But if we download it, it's gonna make some sense, this data, probably. Conversation IDs on Twitter, that's a pretty interesting thing. Obviously, usually we don't care about this. Maybe we just hide this data. Okay, the ID, we probably don't care about that either. This is a timestamp, which is very interesting. But let's clear this data of, maybe we could just delete the column. So on December 30th at 8:08 p.m., I don't know central what time zone it was. The time zone 0 is indicating, yeah, that's probably what's called GMT time, but the Greenwich Mean Time in England, so it tells you the time zone. But this is like an ID or the numbers, which go from 0 up to probably quite a large value because maybe he makes lots of tweets. But yeah, so in looks like in 2018, Elon Musk made 2,000, a little over 2,000 tweets. Good use of time, I suppose. So the place column is actually empty, so that's kind of interesting. It looks like it's empty for a ways down here. So, but you know what you could do with something like this? You could take all the tweets, the text of all the tweets, and do something like find out the person that he tweeted at most often, which would be a mildly interesting exercise. Uh, maybe disregarding any political inclinations. This is a pretty good example of scraping the web and doing data analytics. So I hope, based on this, that you can make a start on this assignment here, doing some data analytics. In the past, I was always providing the Titanic data set, but I'm getting tired of grading that assignment, honestly. But you could calculate the average cost that all 50 of these passengers paid, like the first two passengers in this Titanic data set that I linked right here in previous semesters. And you take 7, add 71, and then the third passenger who's not shown here paid $12 or whatever, and you calculate the average. All right. So that's it for this video. I'm just trying to be helpful, of course.